Our opening song is from Stephen Cogswell. It's called Drugs, parentheses, I Gotta Get Them. Get it at awtfy.com. That's awtfy.com/gotta.
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise to say that night attack can be an acquired taste. There's a hump you have to get over, and then you're in the inside, and all of a sudden a lot more makes sense.
You get an edible, you get a lotion, you get some sort of rub. Do butt shots, like whatever.
Drugs, 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 gotta get them drugs. Drugs, don't know what I just did. Drugs, 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 drugs. Did you say butt shots?
Yeah.
You mean like steroid?
No.
Like an injection?
No.
You mean like a shot of weed oil that you put in your butt?
Well, I mean, kids are always finding ways to... I meant more alcohol, but yeah, I mean, whatever.
Drugs, 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 gotta get them drugs. Drugs, don't know what I just took. Drugs, 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 drugs.
No, I am doing it on the fly because I'm a proper DJ.
Oh, hello, you beautiful bastards, you demon hordes of the internet. Live from the newly minted Diamond Club Studios, deep in the heart of the 7-acre Schwood, located smack dab right on the border of the Austin city limits. It is go time for Night Attack, bringing you the best of the worst of the internet ever since anybody was paying attention. Hello, beautiful folks. My name is Brian Brushwood, joined as always by my BFF and Nova K is J.R.Y. Justin Robert Young. Oh, wait, what's going on here? You look like you're celebrating, having yourself a beverage, wearing yourself a timely button that says, if I were 21, I'd vote for Kennedy. My goodness, who are you and what have you done with Justin Robert Young?
Well, you have seen me changed, Brian. Much as Gandalf went from gray to white, here I stand before you, not just a comedian on the Night Attack podcast, but rather now the author, researcher, performer, and editor of the hit history podcast, Raise the Dead. Indeed, it has begun, Brian.
All right, look, we have plenty of time. We've got weeks and weeks and weeks to eventually knock you down off of the pedestal that you've erected for yourself. But before we do, we have to tell the uninitiated just how excited we are for, this is a branch of the Diamond Club universe that we've never seen explored before. You put together an audiobook that's going to be released in half-hour increments as a podcast. It's called Raise the Dead. Everybody should go immediately to your podcatcher of whatever variety, especially iTunes charts, because they're, of course, the most famous. But we've talked about this before. The conceit is that there's a lot of shocking similarities between the 2016 election and the 1960 election, and you come to a very counterintuitive, surprising, interesting conclusion.
Indeed. And that is that if you were to ask, as somebody very eloquently did on Twitter today, who you would think Donald Trump is more like, Richard Nixon or John F. Kennedy. And in fact, can we actually go to the results there?
Yeah.
Brian?
Okay. All right. So let's peel this back, because I think there's a bit of a narrative thread here. So I called, first of all, Justin has this amazing series that's beginning today. It'll be an audiobook and all this stuff. I want to support him. However, I understand what it's like to be on release day. You are drifting. You're a leaf on the wind from podcast to podcast, appearance to appearance. But I have this idea of just basically stealing all of his words and posting them as me on Twitter. And it occurs to me that before I do that, maybe I should ask permission. And so I called Justin, and it goes straight to voicemail. And I've already posted one thing saying like, hey, this is really, really good. It's one of my favorite things that Justin Robert Young's ever done. And then I go to voicemail and I'm like, we're doing Night Attack tonight. I can apologize on the air. And so I go on to almost word for word. I rejigger a little bit, but I take your words from your preview and I steal them as a bit of performance art as if I'm the one saying them on Twitter, beginning with the question of if you were to pick from the 1960 U.S. presidential election, which candidate would you say was more like Trump, Nixon or Kennedy? By the way, Bonnie, you got a hot take on this?
I would have said Nixon.
You would have said Nixon. Well,
Without
you
a
would
doubt.
have been right in line with it was 71%, but then a bunch of cowards have since changed their votes now that they know what
How polling works.
So, and then also inarticulately skipped stopping on 69, which would have been the funniest.
Aw.
But I was really pleased. So my idea was that I could do essentially your preview for Raise the Dead as a bit of performance art on YouTube. Because I don't know, what do I care? A lot of people will get fired up. Won't mean nothing to me because
On YouTube?
at the end of it on Twitter. I'm sorry. I don't know if I said YouTube. When I got to the end of it, I would reveal that, hey, man, this is the thesis of this amazing new series that you should watch. So I began with the question of who's closer to Trump, Nixon or Kennedy? And, of course, Nixon by an awful lot. And then I stole your next piece. And, by the way, it took me like 30 minutes to go through listening to your preview to make sure that I accurately stole all of your words.
You're so cute. That is like really kind of loving. And that you would.
But, I mean, can I just say this? So, number one, there are elements of talent that Brian has that I don't. And as much as I would consider myself kind of an effective carnival barker, I am not the showman that Brian is. Brian has an intellectual sense of what it means to engage an audience. And what you see I will say, and as I tweeted, the best promotion of this project that I have ever seen, and certainly it is something beyond what I could ever do, is him laying out the case of why you should care about this podcast in so many different
since they're your words, and I now know that I am forgiven for using them without your permission, why don't you walk us through this thread and how it played out? Because keep in mind, there's a good... Man, it's uncomfortable when you say something on Twitter that gets a lot of people all fired up and they're already firing their opinions, their hearts and their anti-hearts and whatnot. So it was not fun during it, but I was so happy with how it landed. Walk us through it.
So here's the deal, and Bryce, if you can bring it up so I know exactly what the tweets were. But the first thing that I saw is Brian saying, "Who is Trump more like, Nixon or Kennedy?" And that was the first time that my asshole clenched so tight it would fucking just I might have sharded a diamond. It was just tremendous stress because I was like, oh wait, what if I was totally wrong? And everyone's like, oh, Kennedy, yeah, makes total sense. Why?
Well, and plus also very clearly without both keys being turned. We try to be really good on Night Attack of if it's a big deal, both keys have to be turned at the same time. But oh shit, maybe I should have taken that phone call from Brian because it looks like Brian's doing a thing without my permission.
By the way, when Brian calls me, I'm on Daily Tech News Show. I'm in the middle of talking during Daily Tech News Show promoting this thing, and I see Brian calling me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can't take Brian's call even if I wanted to. But it reminded me of, in my moment of panic, I saw this meme today of Game of Thrones where it's Eddard Stark and Catelyn Stark, and Catelyn Stark says, Ed, don't go north. And in this version of the meme, he's like, okay, sure. And then it's end, Game of Thrones, right? And from the first episode of the series, it could end right there. The narrative is done. But lo and behold, indeed, the idea of Nixon and Trump being simpatico holds. Most people have Nixon. In fact, I've gained a tremendous amount of confidence because I'm trolling through Brian's @ replies on these threads. And I see all the things that I'm like, oh, these are all plot points that I'm gonna address. It's gonna be great.
Well,
And I
but before we get to that, just real quick, walk us through the thread that gets us to the end and the plug, because I was very proud of my plug.
all right. So here we go. Bryce, bring back up the big the big thing. Once you've locked in your answer to Kennedy and Nixon, who is more like Trump, consider the parallels between the 2016 and 1960 elections. 1960 pitted a member of a popular two-term president's cabinet against an outsider running without permission.
Totally
Both
stolen from you.
These are all verbatim what I have in the trailer. Both elections featured an unheard of use of new media, which Kennedy used masterfully, and both end with the losing side claiming that the election turned on the help of the nefarious outside sources, in Kennedy's case, the mob. Another moment in 1960, the U.S.'s first televised debate. Kennedy punctuates his big introduction with his campaign slogan, "Get America Moving Again." Guys, this podcast is amazing. It makes the counterintuitive argument that not only is Kennedy the Trump figure of the 1960 election, but that Trump's team full-on used the Kennedy playbook for every move in 2016. It's like a murder mystery unfolding. Gigantic plug for the podcast.
And hold on, you got to read the last one. I'm really proud of the last one. Here we go.
So I can read it. It's got the polish of Serial, the passion of hardcore history, and an unfolding, surprising story worthy of Darknet Diaries. I got an advance to listen to all 6 episodes, and I'm telling you, get Raise the Dead in your feed ASAP, raisethedeadpodcast.com. Now, not only is that eloquently said, not only is that poetry that means the world because a friend wrote it for me, not only a friend, somebody that I've worked professionally with for over a decade, but also it puts us on the radar of fucking Serial and Dan Carlin and Jack Rhysider, Jack Rhysider and Dan Carlin have responded to very, very nice emails I sent to them about how much they inspired me on this project. Jack listened to the trailer, but man, it would be very, very cool if they would listen to more than that. And knowing that you are mutuals for both of them.
2 out of 3 is not bad. By the way, this is how good I am as a friend and as a hopefully as a would-be marketer. My original writing of that was that it had the passion of hardcore history, the polish of Darknet Diaries, and unlike Serial, it sticks the landing. But then I realized. But then I realized that we should cast a wide tent and instead
a wide net. Although I don't think that there's any fucking story podcast that does not at a certain point think, shit, I'm not going to Serial this thing, am I?
Okay.
This is a very, very different project. Obviously, like Serial had to deal with the person's relationship with the subject and everything. Here, most everybody's dead, so I can tell whatever story I want about everybody.
It's not called Raise the Sleeping Guy in Cell Block D8. It's called Raise the Dead.
But holy moly, man, it has been a transformative day. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to say about it, but it's
how are you feeling? I feel like behind the scenes, and I don't know how much we've talked about this on the show proper, but I've watched you go from various levels of enthusiasm that I think I'm onto something, that I've read all this stuff, I put it together. Here's a 1.0. We've talked on this show about the back and forth where it's like, okay, well, here's the expectations of polish out there, whatever. And you hit a level of that all important chrome-like polish, and you did it. You did all the production on this, right? You didn't hire anyone on the outside.
No, it was all me. Yeah.
There comes that moment when you know you've got it. Now, for me, the closest parallel is like when we know we have a good puzzle box that we're about to release on scamstuff.com or whatever, where it's like, we got it. There's literally no, the last time I felt it.
By the way, and I can't do a 7-tweet thread right now, I will point out the puzzle boxes are available at Black Friday deals.
On scamstuff.com. Yeah. No,
Scamstuff.com.
there was definitely a similar sensation like once we had put together the Houdini cell, because based on what was inside, based on the quality of the puzzle, based on the story that we put on the outside, I was like, look, you could come at me on anything, but this thing stands on its own, and I'm thrilled. Like, I feel like you're in the same place with this project. It has a level of polish, a level of research and detail, a level of storytelling, and a level of humor and community invitation, where at this point, this baby's got to be birthed, and it'll do whatever it's going to do.
Yes, 100%. And in a weird way, because I've never worked on anything as long as this. I've never like put 2 years of my life into something from the very beginnings and the ideas and where we're going to go with it and whether or not it should have certain elements. In fact, I was talking to, credited in the episode, my senior strategist, Tamar, who is awesome. She was the one who initially said, as we were talking about my research into 1960, she's like, you keep talking about these parallels to Trump, like you should really make that a bigger part of the show, because like you can drop these hints here and again, but it will draw a lot more attention if you make that a central theme. And that was something that I had never thought of before, and that those are elements to a project that I've never really dealt with, at least in terms of what we have as the final product. And I'm extraordinarily proud of it. I think it is the best thing I've ever done. And somebody said today, in fact, I've seen multiple people say it different ways, that this is the first time they've listened to something and they've been like, oh, that's what that guy does.
Right.
And that's like the most fulfilling thing I think I've ever read on the internet in my life. Like it's insane.
Just so we're clear, everybody should be downloading now, right? Like,
go download now. Yes. Oh my God.
Go for it.
Thank you. If you are just listening to this on podcast, then please download this right now. RaiseTheDeadPodcast.com. It'll give you all of the links. But obviously Apple Podcast is the big chart that people pay attention to. If you can do it on Apple, boy, do I appreciate it. But otherwise, numbers is numbers. Go ahead and get it on the podcast.
Holy cow. Breaking news. Meryl Barr in the chat letting us know that you've jumped up 11 to number 89 in all of news in iTunes. Let's keep that momentum going,
All
people.
right.
Let's also just briefly recap from the pre-show where we talked about this and a lot more. And by the way, you can get the pre-show by going to patreon.com/nightattack. But boy, howdy, are the goddamn podcast charts a lot different than we remember them the last time we tried to launch a podcast, huh, Brian?
Yeah, dude. And not only that, I'm very different even from a year ago, because I think a year ago, Darknet Diaries did an episode where he was talking about a few Indonesians who had said that they could get you in the top 100, and all they were doing were individually clicking from many accounts, like at human speeds. I have to imagine that as the smartphone revolution has exploded, that everybody is all of a sudden it's a much tighter market, which only makes it all the more important that early social proof of everybody jumping in at the same time. So if you've already uploaded or downloaded or subscribed or whatever the thing is you're supposed to do, get somebody else to do it. My daughter is 15. She had her iPad in the back, and I was like, hey, you got the podcast app? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, look this up. She's like, okay, why? And I'm like, because you're going to hit subscribe. She goes, okay. And she clicks on it. She says, when do I unsubscribe? I said, never. Just never listen to them. Nobody cares. just, I'm glad you clicked on that.
No, she could listen to it. It's clean.
Yeah, if she wants to. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one of my college best buddies, and he has a similarly aged child, and he was like, yeah, I'll do the same thing. And I was like, he doesn't have to listen to it. He was like, I don't know. Seems like he's starting to get political. I think he might get something out of this. And I was like, boy, Willie, it's going to be great.
I mean, I'll tell you what, the more I got into it and into the research, and I've just been recording some of the like big thank yous that I'm going to put in for the audiobook. But a lot of it, I just keep coming back to how much I how much of my passion for something like this came from my high school social studies teachers, and how much I happened to have the school I went to had a great social studies department from 9 through 12, and the best part about it was that they all cared about the humanity of everything. They all spent the time talking about who these people were and what their motivations were and why they made the decisions. And that's the biggest thing I realized in doing my like acknowledgments, like what I tried to bring unconsciously into it was like, no, you should know everybody. And I should tell you their actions in the way that somebody spilling a drink on your friend because they're pissed off because they saw you with their ex-girlfriend like would be. Like it should bring you into that moment and make you feel like it. So I would say for Penny specifically, she's in like the ideal demo. In fact, tell Penny to listen to the first episode, and if she doesn't care, that's fine. But if she gets
You know what?
well,
Hey, good news. I have controlled bandwidth to and from school every day, in which Dad gets to decide what we listen to. So maybe I'll tell her like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just needed to, check this out for my friend Justin," and then she can't help but hear all of the knowledge that's being dropped. Speaking of which, but before we go into the Patreon plug, did I tell you about the Dungeons and Dragons campaign that Penny put together for our family?
no, I saw this on social media, but please fill me in.
Okay, so she said, hey, if you guys would like, and again, this is a 15-year-old at the height of her trying to break away from the familyness. She's just like, hey, if you were into it, I guess I could put together a short D&D campaign of about 2 hours. It would be Christmas themed. I would dungeon master. You guys would have to create your characters, but I'd be happy to do that for you. And it's like, not wanting to overreact, her mom and I were like, yeah, I guess. Trying to play it cool, not wanting to communicate that we're freaking out at how awesome it is that our kid wants to dungeon master for us.
Yeah, no, it was totally great. And I was excited because, Brian is unavailable. So that meant this gal got to pick the rogue, which meant
Bonnie got picked the rogue first.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then Josie, our 12-year-old, was a warlock. And our 6-year-old was an interesting case. And again, this is the genius of our 15-year-old Penny.
Yeah,
she was
really
just like, well, let's figure out a character that she could come in or come out, and it doesn't matter. She could be there or not be there. So she made a magical kitty that floats on a rainbow cloud that may or may not go into catatonic states from time to time as she comes and goes from the party or whatever. Yeah. So Penny figures all of this stuff out, and I'm the last one. It's like, oh, what are you going to be? And I'm like, I'm going to be a bard. And so I picked myself a bard, and I'm like, I want to make myself the weakest character. I throw all my points into charisma. I make myself from a noble house. I call myself Garrulus, not Gregory. Gaylord, Gregorus Gaylord. And I make myself a halfling. And so the campaign begins. Penny's got this whole thing set up where there's a town where there's a Christmas festival. So I begin trying to gather an audience for a street performance. And even though I have high charisma, I roll very poorly, and only 5 people show up, and 2 of them leave. The 3 people who are left happen to be a rogue, a warlock, and a magical kitty floating on a cloud. And I just straight up go into your act, the all set up magician. I'm like, okay, I've got an envelope. I want somebody to hold this envelope. It's going to be important later. And I'm doing my act or whatever. But then we find out that we get distracted. And by the way, Penny, at 15, it's so tempting to want to control everything as a dungeon master. But Penny just lets it go until she could feel it sort of fading. And then she said, there's a scream. All the presents have been stolen. We need to go find out where the thing is. So we go down a tunnel. We're trying to figure out the thing. Penny.
Oh, Brian games the system, though. He realizes he realizes that this kitty is invincible. So he keeps sitting the kitty through to go find out what's happening. Like a magic eye in the sky.
It was just an intuitive sense that maybe the kitty should go into each room first.
I mean, but he is kind of a pussy. He rolled a
So along the way, Bonnie just like unnecessarily, she's wasting turns checking inside my purse, stealing all my gold. She ends up stealing the envelope from Josie and puts it in my own thing. So, and meanwhile, I keep looking at Josie saying, remember that envelope, it'll be important. And then, so we make it, yeah, whatever, adventures ensue. But then we get to the big bad, and the big bad is inspired by Untitled Goose Game. The big bad is a giant goose that has stolen all of the presents, right? And so
really overpowered. Like, we're talking very difficult to beat.
Yeah. There's 4 level 1 characters, and we're up against a goose with like 18 everythings. And so I spent 2 full rounds cowering in the corner, just play acting like, oh, I'm scared of gooses. I'm scared of gooses. I'm scared of gooses. I'm letting them fight because I know my character is weak. And then finally I was like, well, let me put on a show. So I do this whole speech, this big old fat lie about how I was raised. My real last name is Gustav, and the Gustav is an ancient word that means commander of geese, and that you and your kind swear fealty to our house and our lords. And now keep in mind, I have a 16 charisma because I put everything in charisma. Yep, I have a +5 to deception because I'm noble. And then all I want to do is distract the goose long enough for everyone else to kill it.
Yeah.
I roll a natural 20. Now, this is the moment that even an adult dungeon master would be tempted to refuse to allow the entire story to break.
Yeah.
But to my 15-year-old's credit, she goes, huh? And there's a pause. And she goes, the goose lowers its head in front of you. And so I do the whole thing where I walk forward and I put my hand on the goose's head. And so the campaign ends with our party having a vastly overpowered goose and my character being the only one who knows that he's a complete liar and doesn't know when the truth is going to come out, either to the goose or to the rest of the crowd. It was amazing. It was incredible.
That is fucking insane. That is such a great story. And I'll tell you what, the only thing that I could imagine that would bring you more gratitude than parents having their 15-year-old daughter dungeon master a game for the family is going to patreon.com/night attack.
That's right.
It is gifting
show.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, what was that?
Right?
Goddamn right. Of course, if you are a new pledger or if you up your pledge, then we will up your enthusiasm for having given your pledge by randomly picking out a name to shout out on our little thing we call...
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Night Attack new Patreon name chant corner hour. It's an hour of...
Hells yeah. Man,
yeah.
Look, man, I don't care. I don't care if you up your pledge or you're a new pledger. Let me tell you this. Imagine you've got a whole bunch of rich money people. Whole bunch of rich money people, and they're about to give some money to some projects that they support, but they ain't got time because they're rich and moneyed. So they get a grant committee, and the grant committee all gets around, and they're all gathered around. They're all like, "Yeah, what's your project?" And somebody says, "I have a D&D podcast about a family that fights a goose." And they're like, "Get out of here!" And then finally they say, "What do you got?" "I got a podcast about the 1960 elections." They're like, "Get out of here!" And they're like, "You guys giving out grants?" Grant's my last name. What is your name, sir? He says, "It's me, Lawrence Grant." Lawrence Grant, take their money. Lawrence Grant, take their money. Lawrence Grant, take their money. Then give it to us.
Lawrence.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Lawrence
Lawrence.
Grant. And of course, we go exactly 1 minute every episode, full Twitch mode, and we tell a completely unrelated story that just, man, danged if it doesn't happen to have a lot of words that seem to resemble people who are giving us bits live in the Twitch chat.
Indeed, and that is why everybody can head on over to twitch.tv/Night Attack every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time and be a part of it. Hey, look, Brian, I went to a convenience store called Aaron Burns the other day.
Yeah, that's really weird because somebody went up and they stuck me with a hot poker and I was like, ow, and they said, sooth. And I was like, what? That didn't make me feel any better.
Well, that's weird, Brian, because sooth means truth, but Big Jim 5, who's my favorite cam girl, has told me the other day that is not the truth.
Oh my God, I was looking at Big Jim 5 and he had them biz disms out. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm just like, man, where do I throw them bits? You know what? I don't throw bits myself. I have my agent Sign do it for me.
All right. Well, I have a hard time with your disrespect here. I don't want to be a poop tempest or anything, but your language used toward Big Jim 5 was a little obscene.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, though. By the time that show was over, I was calling him Captain Jack 913. Am I right?
All right, I'm going to scoop Gray this out of my memory.
Yeah, no, you scooped that gray matter out of that puddle he made. Oh, okay, it's over. All right.
Does come become gray? Google it.
Hey, oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah. By the way, our bit boss currently right here in the chat. God damn it. They changed this thing. I can't. Where's the stupid thing? I can't tell the bit boss. All I get is the sub boss.
RaiseTheDeadPodcast.com, people.
Bryce, do you know the bit boss?
No, they did move it. I don't know. I know Water Ice Scoop and Jason and Bryant have gifted some subs, but they changed it. I can't see the top subs.
I think it's Big Jim 5 who mega cheered 3,975 bits.
That seems super likely.
This is something that I want to bring up with somebody the next time I go there. All right, bye.
There's a lot of parallels between the 2019 shifting of bit attribution and the 2009 establishment of Justin.tv. Ding,
Exactly.
ding,
All right.
ding, ding,
There we go.
ding,
There we
ding.
go.
Hi, it's me, Justin Robert Young. Sorry.
There we go. All right, Big Jim with 3976. Thank you. You are indeed the bit boss. But the boss of our hearts is a newer guest here on this show, but boy, does he feel like family, making yet another appearance on the program, and boy, are we happy for it. Your friend, my friend, the world's friend, Lowbrow!
Hello, gentlemen.
Twitch.tv, Lowbrow Watch. Thank you so much for joining us, Lowbrow.
You're welcome.
I'll be damned. Okay, look, I'm not going to say you have a problem, but I'm going to say that your set looks like what happens when Las Vegas decides to decorate for Christmas.
Like you are hiding a Christmas tree.
There's actually a whole video of my wife and I decorating it as my intro video for Christmas. So like during the Christmas season, that'll play before my show starts.
Bonnie, will you do me a favor? Bonnie, I'm sorry, one second, Justin. Bonnie, just for 30 seconds, just flick that switch off and on in the back. There's a power switch back there. I have to achieve parity.
Yeah, it's
and
on
I'm
the.
sorry. No,
it's on the
not that
yellow.
one.
If you see it on the ground, it's a yellow.
The big one. There you go. Okay, there you go.
There's-
I'm sorry. So what's up, Lowbrow? Cool guy, Twitch streamer extraordinaire. You ready to play a game?
This works. This actually works a little bit.
I'm ready to play a game. Let's do it. Is it how many times can I turn my light on and off? Because I think I'm gonna win.
Bonnie, off mic is saying like, I'm just gonna keep doing this the whole show.
Brian is asking me to push his buttons.
Finally.
Okay.
Lowbrow, I think not only since the last time you've been on the show, but also the last time that I have talked to you personally, you've gone through a lot, right? You got married.
I did. I got married and I quit my job in the last year.
Oh my good God!
Hold on. So you got reverse divorced and reverse fired.
Yes. The exact
Wow.
opposite of what happened 5 years ago.
By the way, for the uninitiated, Lowbrow does a bunch of how do you describe it? Mental health talk, just being a voice.
I would even describe it as personal growth discussion. We try to talk about how we can improve ourselves as a community, and we're just a community of people that want to become the best version of ourselves.
I mean, number one, everybody should go interact with the Lowbrow Watch channel and Lowbrow himself and also everybody. Also, that does seem like the beginning of a cult.
You know what's funny? That's actually an ongoing joke. So one of my really good friends has been calling it a cult for a long time because he averages like way more viewers than me, and like whenever we go to like TwitchCon or something, I run into people I know all the time. He's like, I don't run into anyone I know. Why do you run into all these people? Is this a cult? And so I modded him recently and sent him a hat just like mine and gave him a patch for it and said, welcome to the cult.
I want you to know I'm very intentionally holding my tavern beverage in the format of a Baby Yoda instead of a Kermit. I guess Kermit tea is out, and Baby Yoda holding his tea bemusedly is in.
Everybody's now into the Baby Yoda bone broth.
Who wouldn't be? Baby Yoda's adorable.
It is wild how much that's taken off, huh?
Yeah, I didn't expect the whole Baby Yoda name part to take off because it's in my opinion, it's kind of a misnomer, but like everyone calls it that anyway.
In my opinion, do you mean in actual fact?
Yes, in actual fact, but there's literally people out there that are like, no, it's Baby Yoda. I'm like, okay, well then it's Baby Yoda.
Well, that was the funniest thing because I guess like Disney listed the first official like Baby Yoda merch, and it's called like the Child or whatever.
Is it really?
Yeah, because you can't call it Baby Yoda because like it's not actual Yoda or whatever. But it is insane that also like Brian and I, who like literally have spent the better part of the turn of the century taking a crap on Star Wars scoring easy points with just gratuitous and vile uses of their IP that are just absolute nostalgia pumps for cash.
Oh,
and Baby Yoda comes around like, hooray! Baby Yoda's great.
Well, and again, like as we've talked about before, Mandalorian turns a very clever trick because it's its brutality that earns it the right to be unabashedly the cutest thing that they've ever done. And of course, every single time that Baby Yoda's on screen, my entire room erupts into and all that. And being the manly 45-year-old, I only go, aw. And so
that is Brian's like John Wayne restraint. Very manly, low register. Oh,
you know the Weird Al song, the Yoda song, right?
Yeah, Lola.
I saw the best meme of the Baby Yoda thing where it's Baby Yoda turning on that song, and then the Mandalorian's like, no. And then it's Baby Yoda turning it back on. I was laughing my ass off at that today.
I mean, all right. So real quick, because I don't even think Brian and I have gotten a chance to talk about it. Normally we would talk about it on Weird Things, but you had to jet. There has been this last episode was the first one where there was like critical static around it.
It is the most by the numbers episode. It is the least inspired of the episodes, but it is far from the worst of the episodes. I think number 3 had a number of moments that were unearned, including the all for one thing that they didn't establish, and then the weird Superman thing at the end. I didn't care for any of that. Number 4 was competent. Yes, it was just straight up Three Amigos, Seven Samurai, a story we've seen a million times before. But they did. It was the first one to my surprise, for the first time ever in the Star Wars universe, make a single ATST a credible, terrifying threat.
Yeah, no, it was rad. And also
That's
I was just really
actually
excited
true.
that the like random soldier chick they found, especially in 2019, had like guns. Like she had like arms, and I'm like, God damn, I need to get back in the gym. This is awesome. She hit a German suplex. I literally stood up and yelled in my wife's face, belly to back suplex. I might have been drinking, but I was still very excited.
Yeah, no, I would say far from. Look, I mean, when we're playing with house money at this point. They've earned so much credit that they can afford can afford to all be episode 4s going forward, and I'll still salute them at the end.
To me, it was actually just like it kind of felt like home, because it just sort of felt like that random mid-season TNG or Stargate episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I love TNG and Stargate. Look, it's back in POG form.
Exactly.
I'm a huge Stargate fan.
I totally agree.
I
I did get worried when we were doing the when they showed Baby Yoda the first time, because I lived through Baby Muppets. That was so bad.
Wait, hold on, wait. Muppet Babies?
Oh, Muppet Babies. Yes, Muppet Babies.
Wait,
No, it's even worse, Justin. They're baby Muppet babies. Those Muppet babies were fucking, and they had baby Muppet babies. They're fucking embryos. They're deformed as fuck. Kermit's got 8 brains.
Bonnie. Step aside, Brian. Bonnie, are you talking shit about Muppet Babies?
Oh, it was abysmal. And then every
Look, one of us on the panel definitely just watched the Defunct Land about Muppet Babies and what they were trying to achieve. So I'm just gonna, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Wait.
I just-
Muppet Babies, they make your dreams come true. Those Muppet Babies?
Oh my goodness, he broke the door. Bonnie, what? Muppet Babies rocked.
Yeah, they were set right in the middle of every TV show. So what do you had? Scooby Doo babies. Oh yeah, and then you had like that the little dog they.
Are you about
on.
to tell me Tiny Toons is not good too? Because it.
Oh, that was so bad. That
Oh
was
my
the
God.
worst.
Oh my.
What's happening right now?
Bonnie, I would leave now too, but I have to switch the cameras here.
And Muppet Babies, the inadequate art in the eyes, the withering gaze of Bonnie Brushwood.
Yeah, little 10-year-old or whatever I was. I don't even remember.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't.
What a shocking heel turn from the invisible wife, Bonnie Brushwood. We all fucking knew and loved the beloved Bonnie, and yet here you are. Wait, are there any other 90s kids franchises that you want to trash?
Animaniacs or Wacky Racers or.
Oh, don't get
Oh
me
my gosh, I just got back
started.
from the bathroom, and man, am I glad that you guys surely have moved on to another topic. Hey man, is there a game we're playing tonight?
Unbelievable. I'm going to have to rechange this game. Yes, hey everybody. We're playing one of our new favorite games, one of my new favorite games. It's a little something that mixes the news of the day with the trivia of whenever. It's News 6.
Oh, thank goodness.
The news. That's 6. Oh, yeah. I didn't do that because you walked away. Right. So this is a game. So I've got 6 news items for the day here. You guys are going to each pick a topic from this list that I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to give you a question, and you're going to see if you can answer this almost related question. It's News 6.
Yeah.
The news with 6. Lowbrow, since you're our guest today, we'll give you first crack at the topic. Our topics today are Bubs the Word, to the tune of Baby Monkey, 52 Seconds, Women and Children First, True Blue, and Jingle Phone Bells.
Jingle phone bells.
I'm going to go with Jingle Phone Bells. All right. Gotta pull up my thing. All right. This is from NPR. In what could be a reference to a new missile test, North Korea is threatening to give the U.S. a, quote, Christmas gift unless Washington abides by an end-of-the-year deadline set by Pyongyang for concessions in exchange for a possible deal to curb its nuclear weapons. Speaking on Tuesday, President Trump said he hoped Kim would get rid of his country's nuclear weapons. Kim, quote, likes sending rockets up, doesn't he? That's why I call him Rocket Man, the president said at NATO in London in front of people. Question. As far back as World War II, Santa has been an inseparable icon in bringing peace to the masses in connection with the military at Christmas war times. Now we have the annual tradition of NORAD Track Santa. You guys know NORAD Track Santa, right?
Of course,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how NORAD Track Santa started? Anybody? Maybe.
I believe it started with the lie of Santa Claus.
Well, oh my goodness. Okay. So.
Sorry, kids. But put your kids to bed. We apologize for Brian. Santa's real.
So there's a bit of an urban legend, but the truest form of the story, we believe, is that a Sears Roebuck print ad advertised a hotline where kids could call Santa on his private line any day, anytime, day or night. The number just happened to be very close to the desk line of CONAD's Commander-in-Chief Harry Shoup, and when a child messed up the two of the digits on the phone line, the very brusque commander had a straightforward message to the kid. There may be a guy named Santa Claus at the North Pole, but he's not the one I worry about coming from that direction. What year did this serendipitous event occur? Lowbrow, we're going to start with you. Just pick a year, and the closest to the correct year that this event happened will get a point. It's kind of this is the longest one. You started with the longest one. They'll be shorter than this.
Fine, that's fine.
So when I'm like jingle bells, he's like, okay, you got it.
I mean, all you got to do is pick what year you think this legend took place in.
Mm-hmm. And we do know what year it happened.
I don't even know. 1947.
1947.
Pretty good.
Says
Pretty
Lowbrow.
good.
All right, okay.
threw a
sure,
number
yeah.
out there.
Bonnie, I got you next here in the lineup. What year did you think that this happened?
1953.
1953.
No, I think Bonnie's moving in the right direction. Closer to the height of the Red Scare, nuclear Armageddon.
Okay, Brian, it's your guess now.
Look, man, I don't want to be a jaded elf here, but it seems to me like maybe somebody writing this question would want to tease a certain new popular podcast that's exploding on the news scene. And I'm going to say 1960.
Say 1960. All right, Justin Robert Young, take it home.
As a guy who wrote a new hit podcast about the 1960 election, I would say that this is probably in 1956.
1956. All right. One of you is off by 1 year. One year off. The answer that we were looking for was 1955. Justin Robert Young.
Oh! Well deserved. Well earned. Well earned.
Very good. That's new
I
shit.
actually read about this last year because there was a government shutdown, and I actually called NORAD to ask whether or not the government shutdown would involve them shutting down the tracking of Santa.
Oh,
and
right.
so I wound up reading all about the NORAD tracking Santa thing.
And the answer was that it kind of did, didn't it?
That one is all volunteer run. So
Mhm.
it's all like it would not be affected by a government shutdown because it's all volunteers program.
Dude, that's doubly well earned.
Yeah. All right. So that's a point to Justin. All right. We'll go down on the list here. Bonnie, why don't you pick a topic for us? Can you see the topic list there?
Women and children first.
I'm going to go with the women and children first. Boom, 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 boom. This is a very good one. Okay. From CNN, top music act and 17-year-old girl Billie Eilish was on Jimmy Kimmel Live this week. When asked, Eilish admitted to not knowing any of the members of the classic hard rock band Van Halen. This naturally caused a huge stir on social media. Question: name any members of Van Halen, current or former. We will go one at a time, starting with Bonnie. And if you fail to remember a name, you will be out. The last one who is standing will get a point.
I love everything about this game.
Wait, Bryce. So whoever somebody names is eliminated, right?
Yes.
Right. If you can't come up with a correct name, you'll be eliminated out of the rotation. Last person who is who survives will get the point. Lowbrow put his hand entirely into his palm, or his face into his palm. So
All right, Bonnie.
we'll see where he goes.
We
But
got to
we're starting
go
with
fast
Bonnie.
before the chat realm ruins it.
That's right, Bonnie.
Rod
name?
Stewart.
Rod Stewart is
God bless you, Bonnie.
not quite correct.
By the way,
Brian.
you know he got ribs taken out. I'll tell you later.
All right. Brian, you're next in the cycle here. Name any member, current or former, of Van Halen.
I'm going to make it very easy on other people by saying Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar is correct. Justin, Robert Young.
I would say Eddie Van Halen's son, but I don't know whether or not it's Eddie Van Halen Jr., so I will just say Eddie Van Halen.
Eddie Van Halen is, of course, correct. Lowbrow. Can
He
you
took
name?
my answer. I don't know the others.
Oh, my God!
Listen. I've heard the names before. I just don't remember them right now. And I listen. I like Van Halen. They're just not.
You
my
didn't follow any
favorite.
solo careers.
I'm the Van Halen lead singer. I have 3 names.
This is my most embarrassing moment ever live.
Lowbrow.
Oh, big Lowbrow is big baddie now. I said, I ain't got no answer. I'm Lowbrow. Beady bop, boot, scoobity bop, but I California girls.
I've lost the thread on this one, huh?
Here I am with positive thoughts, and all I need is Lowbrow watch. Yeah, oh yeah, Lowbrow watch.
Okay.
Might as well Lowbrow. Lowbrow. Lowbrow.
Lowbrow, please, if you can
Most
give us a guess, then we can
famous
really
song you
put the
know.
hammer down on.
That Lowbrow pause.
Let's go
Lowbrow
with
pause.
let's go with
Lowbrow pause.
Oh, sorry, Lowbrow. Oh man, he's gone. All right.
it's fine. I give up.
Okay. Very good. All right. Brian and Justin are still in. Brian, we're going to start with you. Can you name any of the other members of Van Halen?
Eddie Van Halen's son was probably acquainted at one point with David Lee Roth, which is my answer.
David Lee Roth is correct. Justin.
Eddie Van Halen Jr.
Ooh, your answer of Eddie Van Halen Jr. is incorrect.
Oh, God, you would have had me. You would have had me.
Eddie Van Halen's son is Wolfgang Van Halen, or Wolf Van Halen.
God damn it.
We would have also accepted Alex Van Halen, Mark Stone, Michael Anthony, and Gary Sharon. Gary Sharon.
I wouldn't have known any of those, so I'm not embarrassed.
I forgot the other Van Halen between or after Van Hagar.
That's
Okay, so real quick, Justin, sidebar. Is everybody else in this room richer or poorer for not having a file in their brain labeled David Lee Roth?
Poor.
Yeah.
Because right now in our culture, we are at a paucity for rock stars. So the only good thing about the fact that nobody remembers the rock stars of yore is that they will get to experience rock stars fresh when they come back.
Yeah. We saw a bit of an echo of that with, I feel like, what was the band that did I Believe in a Thing Called Love?
Backstreet Boys.
Oh, Darkness, but even like they were doing a parody of a rock star, right?
Yeah.
Like they were Spaceballs. Like
Well, but-
the only rock star in existence today is Kanye West, and he has to go to Joel Osteen's church to shock people.
Yeah.
It was the darkness, right?
The
Yes.
darkness, yeah.
Yes, it was. It was. And I feel like if the darkness was to come out today, just nobody would say the word parody about any of it. It would just be beloved universally.
Right. You're right. There's somebody's gonna come out and they're gonna be a balls out, go fuck yourself rock star. But the problem is that now we're at a point where, and we acknowledged this early on with NSFW show, that like obscenity doesn't mean anything anymore. The only thing that actually meant something in NSFW was us fucking with money, which is why fucking with the ads was like shocking and dangerous. Because on the internet, I mean, when you know your first foray into interconnected telecommunications is going on the Halo and having a 12-year-old say every dirty word ever, then like, what the fuck does obscenity mean?
Yeah.
There we go. Eddie Sunwolf also tweeted in support of Eilish, quote, "Music is supposed to bring us together, not divide us." So there you go. Brian, you got the point on that. Congratulations.
Hell's yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking fat rich kid.
No. Yeah. Hey, man. Look, I'm not that fat, and I'm not that rich, and I'm far from a kid. So fuck you.
Then I
Far from a
apologize to
kid.
you, Brian, and not Wolfgang fucking Van Halen, whose name I forgot.
Listen, I don't know a whole lot about Brian, but I do know that he is not far from a kid.
I'm just look. I've spent all
Did you just accuse me of pedophilia? Is that what just happened?
No, I'm saying you are a
All right. Brian,
Moving
new
right
six.
along, dude.
We have
52 seconds.
here you go, 52 seconds.
The news that's 6.
Because see, sometimes your news doesn't 6, and this news does 6.
This news 6.
I hate it when my news doesn't say.
That's right.
I know, Gary, you asked me, the announcer, not to interrupt you as you tried to newscast, but seriously, tonight, the news 6.
This is from the BBC. Is there a potentially lethal asteroid out there just waiting for us? Quote, "We will get a serious asteroid impact sometime," says Professor Alan Fitzsimmons of Queen's University, Belfast. NASA's DART and the ESA's Hera missions will 1-2 punch a small asteroid moon near Didymos and a larger asteroid moon and measure how capable we are of redirecting space debris. Question. In the episode of Futurama, where the crew must similarly divert an asteroid made of trash from crashing into Earth, aka a big piece of garbage, a classic cartoon called A Corny Concerto plays during the opening graphics of that episode. What year did that short film originally release? And
Wow.
it's got Elmer Fudd in it, I do believe, is the star of that clip. So Brian, we're going to start with you. You're going to guess a year.
Okay.
So the question is...
First of all, I absolutely adore the idea that we're setting up the narrative that we started it with the asteroids by delivering a 1-2 punch just to see if we can knock an asteroid around. Then all of a sudden they come for us. But I will say that the
can hit it with our
opening
left hook. NASA's got a real sick left hook.
I'm going to say that the short film was from 1938.
1938, Brian says. All right, Justin.
I'm going to say that it was 1941.
1941, says Justin. All right, Lowbrow, you got a guess for me? There's Elmer
So
Fudd.
wait, so he guessed, literally won't even know this. So if he guessed 38 and he guessed 41,
41.
I'm gonna go 40.
1940, okay. Bonnie, you got a guess for me?
1969.
So just real quick, before we get to Bonnie's part, let me just explain Lowbrow's strategy. You have all of time in infinity in
Correct.
both directions.
Yes.
You have 1 year that was selected and another year that was 3 years later. And with infinity on one side and infinity on the other side, Lowbrow says, let me do one less than the slightly higher, giving me
Nothing. By the way, nothing,
I'm-
nothing makes me like physically erect more than Brian getting pissed off at other people for doing game theory. Like I have like just a raging fucking hard on right now that is like throbbing in my pants because nothing makes me physically happier than the idea of the most prolific practitioner of game theory identifying and then being upset friends at the idea that somebody else would indeed do it.
Do you have any idea how far infinity is? It's like way far. Infinity on either direction. It's like walking.
Stop it, Brian! Jesus, these are new jeans.
It's just that
You're
I got
trained.
corrected for trying to play to win one time. So
No one is spared, Bonnie. Do you see this? No one is spared. Okay. So, Bonnie, are you going to stick with your answer of 1969?
hell yeah.
All right. That's great. Love to hear it. We love to hear it.
You don't want to go with 1943?
Wait. Ever since Bonnie has revealed her truth of shitting on Muppet Babies and Tiny Toons, she's just like, fuck it. Everything's 69. Pull down the shades, light up a fucking cool, and let's peace the fuck out. Let's hop in the truck. We're going mudding.
All right. We were looking. We have the results. One of you is off by 3 years. One of you is off by 2 years.
Is that the guy that decided not to take the over on infinity?
The answer that we were looking for was. Oh, wait, here we get it again. Dun, dun, dun. 1943.
So mad. I was like, you can't do that. How funny would that have been if I guessed the right year and he got so mad about it? That's why I went for it. I was like, I know it's going to make no sense, but I'll pick that middle year and see what happens.
You got to shoot your shot.
No,
you shot your shot.
Mad, but
yeah, man, you miss 100% of the years you don't bet on. So here we go.
You don't guess.
All right,
I
there we go.
I've
That's
already
another
won
point.
2 games against you guys.
That's another point to Justin Robert Young. Speaking of Justin Robert Young, we have 3 more topics left in News 6. We got Bubs the Word. We got To the Tune of Baby Monkey. And we've got True Blue.
I'm going to go with Bubs the Word, Bryce.
Gonna go with Bubs the Word.
This News 6. Some news doesn't 6. This 6 is. It's the sickiest 6. Christ, why do I have this gig? It's me, the announcer.
That's a good take. That's a good take. We can use that one, I think. All right, Bubs the Word. This is from The Verge. 25 years ago today, the original PlayStation ushered in an era of 3D gaming on the home console. Over that period, the company has consistently changed things up with new advancements, whether it's DVD storage on the PS2 or the influential twin-stick design of the DualShock controller. It's hard to argue today that the video game industry isn't better with Sony in it. Question. One of the worst games of the PlayStation's life cycle is a terrible little platformer called Bubsy 3D, a sequel to the Bubsy platforming franchise. With tank controls, annoying voiceovers, and unimpressive designs, Josh Griffiths of TheGamer.com called it the worst PlayStation 1 game of all time. In it, Bubsy has to collect pieces of a rocket ship to escape the planet Rayon and stop an alien invasion headed for Earth. How many rocket pieces does this game contain? Each player will guess in order closest to the answer without going over. We'll get a point, and we're going to start with Justin because he selected the question here. Justin, how many rocket pieces?
29.
I'm going to say 29. Has anybody played Bubsy 3D in the...
Fuck no.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? I played the fuck out of that game.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. I went and stole me a PlayStation 1, and I was like, I only want to play one game, and that's Bugsy 3D. And then I didn't realize I didn't have Bugsy 3D. So then
Bubsy. Bubsy.
well,
3D.
okay, look, I was mistaken, which is why I got sold a counterfeit copy of Bugsy 3D, which was basically Jet Troopers 7, which I didn't even know was out.
It was Bugsy 3D, the story of an old gangster. Yeah, see, you better collect the pieces of my rocket ship. See,
You know what? 2 on the nose. My therapist says we should not continue this conversation. I'm going to put an end to it right now.
All right. All right. Justin says 29. Lowbrow.
All right, now, Lowbro, let me help you out. Hold on.
No. Just
Hold on. You've got some number of numbers
Oh, my God.
greater than 29.
Now, this is without going
I'll give
over.
you a hint. They go forever. But then you have some numbers less than 29.
correct.
Brian, at the expense of my half chub, I'm going to tell you to shut up.
All right. Remember, this is without going over.
So, but the problem is here, Brian, is that if I go to 30, you're going to be like, okay, buddy, 31. And then if I'm like, okay, 28, you'll be like, okay, 27. And then I'm screwed. So I'm going to
Well.
go with 30 and see what happens.
Well, in all my years of Night Attack, I've never seen game theory ruin a comedy bit like this. I hope
Clearly,
you're
you haven't.
satisfied,
Clearly, you
my
haven't.
friend. I hope it's worth it when you get your victory because I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Bonnie, Miss Invisible Wife, how many rocket pieces do you think are in the game?
I think they did some research and went with how many the Challenger, right? It was the Challenger, right?
How many pieces were in the Challenger? How many pieces?
So,
Or do you mean humans? Because that would be a different thing.
I think they're both bad, huh?
No. Let's see. I'm going to say 69.
Good out. Good out. Good out.
Good answer.
God, by the way, this gritty reboot of Bonnie that leads that the predicate is a joke about the horrifying Challenger accident, and the subject is I fucked that up. The subject is the Challenger, and the predicate is a 69 joke. This is uncharted territory. We've never seen gritty reboot Bonnie.
Brian, take it home for us.
$1.
All right, everybody.
He's gonna win. God damn it.
The answer that we were looking for was Bubsy 3D contains 32 rocket parts. That's a point for Lowbrow.
Oh my God!
It's almost as if Brian was right.
That's right.
See, Justin, I didn't want to admit this, but Lowbrow and I formed a pact before the game even began. I said, look, I'm going to cover Justin when it comes to the iTunes charts, but when it comes to Night Attack games, I'm only going to shoot you straight and help you out.
There are very few things that I hate more in our comedy show than people taking the fucking game seriously. You have no idea how annoyed I was with Bonnie for shitting on my favorite childhood shows. I've never been more at one with her than right now. Against the two of you, game theory,
we lost.
manipulating motherfuckers, taking all the fun out of this game.
Oh, no.
Ironically,
would you
Justin's
say-
fucking winning. Justin's still fucking winning, too, by the way.
I'll tell you what, though. I was listening.
Go, next, go.
Okay.
Look, just real quick, I do want to clear the air on this. I understand you might think it's disgusting, the tactics that are being used in this, but there's this podcast I was listening to where it's sort of the meta message was at the end of the day, all that matters is the person elected becomes the president.
And that's
I can
talking
remember
feds? Is
who
our
that
friend
was. I'll let you know.
One day we'll figure it out. All right, that was Justin. Lowbrow, we're back to you. If you can pick a topic for me. I think the last two that we've got is To the Tune of Baby Monkey and True Blue.
To the tune of Baby Monkey.
To the tune
Because Baby Yoda.
Let's see. Here on News 6. The news at 6. And it is worth noting it is not the news at 6-9.
The news at 6 at 9.
All right, where's my thing? Okay, To the Tune of Baby Monkey. All right, this is from CNET. Disney Plus's The Mandalorian has captivated the internet with Baby Yoda, who is a Yoda and is also Baby. A plush doll and Funko Pop of the sweet child who caused Werner Herzog to cry has gone on sale for pre-order today. Question. Werner Herzog's heartbreaking documentary Grizzly Man, about a grizzly bear enthusiast attacked and killed by the very bears he sought to protect, debuted August 12, 2005. At its peak, the film opened in 105 U.S. theaters. Per Box Office Mojo today, how much did Grizzly Man make domestically in United States dollars? Each player will guess in round. The closest to the answer without going over will get a point. Lowbrow, we're starting with you. How much money in the U.S. did Werner Herzog, a man who cried like a baby to Baby Yoda, make? The face Lowbrow is making right now. I love it. This is
Yeah.
$100.
$100. All right, that's a strong opening.
All right, just Lowbrow, one more time. You have 0, and it goes to infinity. And anyone after you can pick higher than you.
You know, I had like this like epiphany recently, and I think I got to go with my gut here and just have fun with it and not take it so seriously. So I'm gonna go with $100.
I've heard that's good for comedy.
No, that's a very serious answer. People went to see the movie. That's what happened in 1999. Cool. What a fun, cool game where everybody gets to bond with other people who are listening.
Can I call a timeout? This business about Werner Herzog crying about Baby Yoda.
Yes,
Is that real?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. He told to Variety when he saw the Baby Yoda puppet on set, it brought him to tears. He
That
had not
means-
even seen
hold on.
what he called
He's
the
crazy.
film yet. He
No,
had not-
I know he never watched the film, but he did read the script, which all of a sudden now I think Baby Yoda dies. You have to know Baby Yoda
No,
dies, and
Baby
then you walk
Yoda
on
does
set,
not.
and then you see Baby Yoda. Then why would you cry? You're Werner Herzog. Why else are you crying? Unless you know that puppet dies.
No, because it's so sweet.
Okay,
Well,
there's two
so
reasons.
Bonnie, that's not really a
Either
strong
that,
counter-argument
or
that
because
you
he
made.
heard that Lowbrow expected Grizzly Man to make $100. That's the only other reason Werner Herzog would be crying.
And so you wanted to stop the game to let us know that the cutest thing on the internet is going to die. In
I'm
about
just
4
saying,
weeks.
you're the one who spoiled it. I just revealed the truth that was hidden beneath your words.
God, it's definitely not going to happen. I think. All right. Well,
If it was written that way, they've rewritten it because they would never.
Because Night Attack broke the story.
Yeah.
that's right. Exclusive first look.
That's it. Disney Plus twists on the whims of Night Attack.
All right. Lowbrow said $100 for the feature film Grizzly Man. Bonnie, how much money do you think Grizzly Man, the Grizzly film
Untitled
Grizzly
Grizzly film.
Man, made in the U.S.?
$1,240.
No. Okay.
Oh darn! I missed an opportunity.
No, but we do have to take your answer of $1,240. All right, Brian Brushwood, please give me an answer, please, to this game, please.
Adjusted for inflation?
No.
No?
This movie's from 2005.
What's funny is like I'm looking at Justin's eyes as if I hope they'll betray some truth, but I realize he's looking at a screen. I'm going to say $47 million.
You say 47
Nope.
million.
Wait, can I adjust? Is it too late? Is it touch move?
You better do it very quickly.
$29 million. $29 million.
$29 million. Okay. Justin Robert Young. Take us home.
$13 million.
Ooh. Oh.
Justin's gonna say $13 million.
So what you're saying is from 13 million to infinity.
Lowbrow?
You
Lowbrow?
chose-
Look, there's a reason Baby Yoda doesn't fight the ATST. All right? Just take it easy for a second.
By the way, there's a reason why Brian read my face when he said 47 and fucking went half. 47 was way fucking high.
Look, we get it.
All right, think mid-aughts specialty box office, right? This is pre every movie theater having whatever the hot like documentary is.
No, I actually think you're pretty spot on. I think I was overly generous, and then and to be honest, it was just like as I heard the words coming out of my mouth, I thought of this year's winter movie draft, and I thought of like how much Jojo Rabbit has made, and then I was like, ooh, let's dial that back because Jojo Rabbit was freaking amazing.
Well, it opened in 155 theaters.
105.
105.
One for each Reich.
Well, but that's not shocking for a documentary. A documentary is going to open in any specialty movie is going to open in very few theaters and then expand. So I would say, yeah, 10 or lower. I went 12 just because nobody else really fucked around in any realistic number.
Wow.
All right.
Lowbrow
has no
Lowbrow with that
so-
low-key hurt.
But I'm at $100 here, so I can't judge.
I
That's
thought
a
the movie-
fucking insane thing to say. Like, dude, I spent $100 going to see Ford versus Ferrari with me and my wife.
Hold on, Justin, real
6
quick.
weeks ago.
Just show it what it looks like for Werner Herzog to have completely independently financed Grizzly Man and is selling it on the street. He's trying to give me your Werner Herzog trying
All
to
right, here
sell
we
copies
go.
of Grizzly Man on the street.
Hello, I would like for you to see this grizzly man. There's a grizzly. If you could come to my trunk, please, I will sell you a man who lives amongst grizzlies. He dies at the end. Please don't walk away.
So I'm sorry. You said he dies at the end. If I know how it ends, why would I buy the?
Saying it is about a man. He loves bears. These bears, they rumbly, tumbly. They do not like honey in the way that we think, but yet they do love honey and salmon. They love it. And I made a movie about a man. He's dead. He died.
I'm sorry, Mr. Herzog. How much are these a piece?
These are at least 100 because for less than 100, I'd be a fucking idiot.
So you want me to buy one?
For less than 100.
Comrade Herzog is a little strapped for cash.
I feel like what I took from there is I'm an idiot. I am not sure.
I was thinking
Sell
this was made
Please,
in the
out of your
70s.
trunk is a complicated business, don't you think?
All right, well, let's reveal the answer here. The answer we were looking for was... Oh, one time. We are looking for $3 million. $3.1 million.
Shit.
That is
was Bonnie closest?
That's a point for Bonnie.
Wait for me?
You said
That's right.
$1,040, and you were closer than Justin.
You know what's funny is I think I was closer to both of you.
This pleases me very much.
That's great.
All right, let's take a quick look at the scores before we go into our final six of the new six. With 1 point, it's Brian, Lowbrow, and Bonnie, and with 2 points, our leader in this game, the unhappiest man in the room, Justin Robert Young.
Also called out by the chat by Whiskey Wolf, a friend of ours, both of ours from Hearthstone, who just shouts in all caps, tilted. Like he's no longer playing properly. Cut him off. He's not in his right mind.
I got it. I'm writing the sales here. That's fine. We're doing okay. I thought that was, all right, 3 million, I should have went lower. Because like 12 million, I guess, would be like
good
what,
news.
like
Good news is if you had said 7 million, Bonnie still would have won.
Okay, it's our final topic here on News 6. This is, of course, True Blue.
The news. I won't say that word anymore.
News?
The news.
The news. Oh, yes, the news. All right, this is from Live Science. Marine biologists recorded a blue whale's heartbeat for the first time ever. After suction cupping a pulse monitor on its back, biologists recorded nearly 9 hours of heart rate activity. The largest creature on Earth is reported to have had a heartbeat ranging from 34 beats per minute to just 2 beats per minute at the deepest depths. Question. We're going to start with, I don't know who we'll we'll start with on this one. Here's a question. Blue whales are truly the largest animals known to have lived on Earth, and it takes a big heart to power all that mass. When a dead blue whale washed up on a Newfoundland shore in 2015, how heavy in pounds was its golf cart-sized heart? You guys are going to give me an answer, and the closest without going over will get a point. We're going to start with Lowbrow. We'll start with Lowbrow on this one. How big in pounds was the heart of this blue whale that washed up in pounds?
You know, the thing is about numbers like this, once you get to a certain amount, you really can't guess anything like that. Like you look at something a certain size, you're like, how are you supposed to even know? I don't know. So I'm gonna guess 1,000 pounds.
They 1,000 pounds? All right.
1,000
Oh, wait,
pounds.
hold on. No, wait. Are you sure you don't want to do 1 pound? Is that
Listen, I looked at eternity one direction, and I looked at eternity the other, and 1,000 seemed right to
You know
me.
what? You can't fault that logic. It's right there in the middle.
Sounds right.
Here's infinity on one side, infinity on the other. Kind of a perfect answer, if you ask me.
The creationists have taught me that one. All right, Bonnie.
Oh, wow.
Bonnie, we're looking for the weight of this blue whale heart, just the heart.
I'm going to say a ton.
You're going to say 1 ton, so that's 2,000 pounds, I believe. Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Brian.
All right, look, dude, I'm going to science this. You ready?
Okay.
A pint's a pound the world round is what they say. And I have definitely weighed myself and then peed a pint of liquid and then weighed myself again, and it seems to check out. So if a pint is a pound and 4 pints, let's see.
It's 4 pounds.
Pint's a little bit less than a liter, so let's call it 5 pints to a gallon. So I'm picturing gallon jugs. I'm picturing a golf cart. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tall. 7 tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 14 wide. 7 times 14. Let's reduce that. Let's make it just 5 times 15. That's too complicated. Let's round it off to 10 by 10. 100 times the width, 600 gallons times 5, 3,000 pounds. 3,000 pounds.
Your answer is going to be 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he gets this right after that, I quit.
All right.
think the
Justin,
game's
as our leader, we are looking for you now. How big was this blue whale heart?
You said a golf cart?
About a golf cart size.
Not a golf cart. 1 pound.
Yeah, it's already been taken.
1 pound? No, 1 pound has not been taken.
Oh.
1,000 pounds and 1 ton were taken, but not one pound. All right.
By hook or by crook, motherfuckers. I'm taking this shit home.
All right, here we go. Let's start at the top here. Brian, your answer of 3,000 pounds was too big. This is a little too big. Bonnie, your answer of 2,000 pounds was too big. Too big. That just leaves us Lowbrow and Justin Robert Young. Lowbrow gave us an answer of 1,000 pounds. Justin gave us an answer of 1 pound. The poundage.
Are you talking about poundage?
All right, time out real quick before he gives us the answer. I have the strong feeling that none of us fucking know who's about to win this. Lowbrow, do you have a vibe on this? You think there's a chance you win?
I think mine was too heavy.
Justin?
I feel 100% confidence that I am the winner.
I take it back. Just kidding.
The heart that they pulled out of this dead blue whale, which needed 100 gallons of formaldehyde to preserve, weighed 28 stone, 4 pound for the Americans in the audience. That's 396 pounds. Justin
Forgot about the water being out of it.
Oh, I was doing with the water in
Nice,
it.
Justin.
Yeah. Well,
That's how you game theory, motherfuckers.
yeah.
Thank you to everybody who played this game. It seems like we all had a lot of fun, and we're going to remember this one for years to come.
By the way,
Yeah.
let's all prepare ourselves right now when Raise the Dead does hit ¡1 in podcasts, as we all know it will. Let's make sure to take that quote out of context. That's how you game theory, motherfuckers. That was Justin Robert Young, creator, writer, researcher, and producer of Raise the Dead.
I mean, like, why would they pull that quote and not the others that we've committed to press on NPR or various other media outlets every other time we've done this?
Look at that heart. It's just about as big as that man right there, and they have to carry it in like that IKEA bag.
That's not a golf cart.
That's what the BBC said. I think
Yeah.
it probably
I think
compressed.
underwater, filled with water and blood and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're thinking it was all like, inflated. With
Yeah.
Supposedly,
blood.
the rumor used to be that that we believed that the hearts were so big that you could swim through them, like through the aorta and stuff. Turns out it's just about big enough for a human's head, so no swimming through it.
That does explain the Defunct Land episode where they talked about Disney's least popular ride. Never mind. It's fine. Let's say we do a little bit of Diamond Time. It's fine. Diamond Time. That's part of the show where we shout out your projects. Head on over to diamondclub.reddit.com and you will find a sticky post right up at the top. The top 3 upvoted posts will get shouted out right here live on the show.
Indeed, Brian. Ethan Kane writes, join us for the 5th annual Diamond Club New Year's Eve Streamathon. For the last 4 years, the Diamond Club family has come together in droves to ring in the new year. We've been entertained. We've enjoyed each other's company. We've raised several $1,000s for charity, all while making no one had to spend New Year's Eve alone. It's been awesome. And we're doing it again. And we have confirmed that current keep others, but we need your help. We're looking for streamers, both veterans and noobs, and anyone who would like to participate in the behind-the-scenes capacity. Go ahead, because together we make this a record-breaking year. Sign up, bit.ly/2019 Streamathon.
Hot Dog Scoop writes in saying, I'm not going to suggest that my brother did many cool things in his life, but his twin sister was definitely one of them. Before leaving the Christian rock scene for the not quite homeless, but definitely not surprising to find asleep under a bridge life, my brother Jacob was a Star Wars tribute band. This was in 1996, so no one knew how to sell Christian rock yet, and the prequels weren't a thing yet either, so this was a great way to make absolutely no money. Recently, the studio that recorded the album dug it up, and now it's on YouTube, Google Music, Spotify, and whatever else there is. It's also on vinyl, which is wild to me. I think it'll make as many nickels as Bryce deserves if it gets attention. Now, I don't see a specific link to any of this that we can call out.
The band is called Twin Sister, so look for Twin Sister, the band, and you'll find their album.
Oh, I said, but his twin sister. Sorry,
Right.
but twin sister. Yeah,
That's right.
So look up twin sister, and if you see the words twin sister in a Star Wars font, you'll know you found it.
And Thing says, hey guys, this is definitely not Justin here telling you to go to badfights.com to subscribe to the serial of political podcasts, Raise the Dead. And it definitely is not me. I don't know what badfights.com is.
Oh,
but
it goes to the link tree with all the different links to the different directories.
holy shit. That's a great URL. I might fucking make a podcast called badfights.com if I know I got that URL.
Hey, speaking of which, where we at? Has anything changed on those iTunes charts?
I don't know. I would need Merrill Bard to help me out. I don't know if Merrill's still here in the chat, but he has been the one who has watched it. But I'll tell you what, we cracked the top 100 for news. That is what I would like to declare a win right now, because I don't know how fast iTunes updates when it comes to the people that are subbing right now. Yeah. Although I will say this, we are very close to Chad Prather, who was at our little meetup we did at Politicon with Andrew Heaton. It would be delightful if I could send Chad Prather a text message saying that I was beating him.
Hells
that would
yeah.
be great. So keep subbing.
So,
And of course, Diamond, you can chat at your project right here, Diamond Club. .reddit.com or reddit.com/r/Diamond Club. Hey, Bryce, we got any emails coming in?
Well, we
we should take a moment to do the movie draft minute.
Welcome to the Movie Draft Minute presented by CosmicRadio.tv for the week of December 2nd, 2019. I'm your host, Roberto Villegas. If the audio sounds weird, it's because I'm recording this in my car, so sorry about that, people, but sometimes scheduling happens. But guess what? I get to test this new microphone I have for my iPhone. Hooray! So without further ado, let's just go ahead and read the scores. Brett Rounsaville is in 6th place, still waiting for his first film. Jane Josephson is in 5th place, $54.6 million. Brian Brushwood is in 4th place, $145.1 million. Movie League Mike is in 3rd place, $267.8 million. John Teasdale is in 2nd place, $410.1 million. And in 1st place with $499.5 million, it's Tom Merritt. And that is your Movie Draft Minute for the week of December 2nd, 2019.
So, we're on the same page that this is a Cats year. All that matters is Cats. Cats will either be a hit or not a hit. If it's not a hit, then Brett wins with our first ever sub 100% of gross movie. If it is a hit, then Tom wins with supernaturally picking a dicey Broadway musical and the #1 top-rated box office movie in money of all time.
Yeah.
Rated R.
Have I told you that I'm thinking about going to see Cats the day it comes out?
I think you should. I think everybody should. I think it's going to win. I think that there was an initial recoiling from the aesthetics they're going for Cats, but ultimately the choreography, the story, the music, the writing, all of that made it the #1 longest running show in Broadway history. I don't understand why anybody would be surprised that anybody would go see Cats, because there's two people who are going to see Cats. People who saw Cats and are going to drag their kids because this is their last chance to capture what they experienced with Cats, or people like you and me who never understood the appeal of Cats and realized this is our one chance to understand why was Cats a thing.
Also, I have to go see Star Wars at midnight. So what the fuck else am I going to do?
Can I confess that I have not even tried to buy tickets to Star Wars yet?
Oh, really? Well, I mean, I went and got them at the Alamo in SF, and that was the only thing that was available by the time that I went there. And I'm like, fuck it. I guess I can go see a midnight movie.
They call it with the amazing pre-show in which cats dance for your amusement.
Yeah, but at that point, I'm like, fuck it. I might as well go see Cats, because the last thing I want is, the last time that I saw a big, I think it was Endgame or Infinity War, but I had to see it after the first screening had already gone, and so especially at the Alamo in San Francisco, it's one gigantic theater. It's like an old style theater that then all filters out. So I had to put on my ear muffs and just not hear anybody. I went to the bar and just use sign language to signal the bartender so I could get a drink. And then that was that. But I'm like, what if I did that? But it was Taylor Swift in a cat suit singing cat songs.
W. Scottus one in the chats says, I swear to God, if Cats beats Jumanji 2, spoiler alert, guess what crushes Jumanji 2? Jumanji 2 looks like everything you almost... it's everything that looks like what you loved about the previous one, doing a thing you didn't love from the previous one. Also, Cats being exactly what you loved about it originally.
I do not think that Jumanji will make less than Cats.
I'll give you a stake bet on that one. Stake bet.
We are watching a stake bet being made right now, December 3rd, 2019, that Jumanji 2
Cats will make more money than Jumanji 2.
Okay. Jumanji 2 will, and I will bet the opposite.
More important question. What are the odds that in the Alamo Drafthouse pre-show for Cats, they show Cat Crack?
0%. What?
It's
0%?
too bad. It's too bad.
Justin's thinking about it.
It's too bad.
It is kind of like out there, though. It's out there. Like it
well,
doesn't.
no.
It's
It's
not,
actually the original creators.
They're going to show a whole cat butthole on the Alamo Draft House pre-show?
Okay. Here's the real problem is Alamo Draft House now plays by gentleman's rules. They get the rights to everything they put on there. The problem is that the original creators have pulled it. It's only one of our own who put it up as a bootleg version. Man, for the uninitiated, can we take just 1 minute, just one precious minute, and explain the majesty of Cat Crack to any of those who don't understand?
Yeah.
Justin, do you want to set up the context for this? Because somehow this was supposed to be an ad.
I don't know like how this even came across our radar at this point, but this was an ad for a product called the Rover Puck, which is what you're going to hear the person say at the beginning of this. But the Rover Puck was basically a hotspot back when hotspots were new and cool, and you could actually like they were thought to be more of a consumer product than they would eventually be, which is now it's just pretty much for travelers. But the Rover Puck was there. Cat Crack was the way that they believed they would get the news out to everybody who might want to buy one.
Now, Lowbrow, have you ever heard of this Cat Crack?
I'm wondering if you guys didn't show this to me last time.
Oh, that's very likely a possibility. I remember that. Yeah. Well,
I'm not sure.
Well, let's
find out. Let's find out.
Let's find out. Here we go.
Special report. Armed with the Rover Puck, one cat is on the loose and addicted to crack. Cat crack. Cat crack. One cat is loose and addicted on crack. Cat crack. Cat crack. Cat crack. He's freebasing your crack.
Ooh, yeah. Cat Crack is a one of a kind. You can see him smoking crack up on a daily ride. Cat crack, what's so bad, cat? With the back of your crack, what's so crack, cat? The crack, crack.
I have never seen that.
Cat Crack is a one of a kind. You can see him smoking crack up on a daily grind.
Amazing.
I will listen to a 12-part serial-style investigative report podcast of just how that came to be, who signed off on it, who proposed it, who executed it. Every decision about that, I just want to understand.
It's Cat Crack, bro. What do you need to
One of a kind, man.
I have 0 questions. I'm about it.
By the way, including where to buy the Rover Puck for which it was.
Because it's gone.
I did remember that there were cat buttholes in the video. I did not remember the quantity, just how many.
Well, and not only that, but like the veracity with which the cat trying to smoke, trying to freebase their cracks, like he was running around.
But
That's right.
So, hey, we have an email?
We do. Let's open up the mailbag. Oh my gosh, why are you not? Why? Oh, because I turned it down over here one more time. All right, here's our friends at the
Join us for drinks in the Diamond Club.
The Diamond Club. That sounds grand.
Super Grand. This is the part of the show where we read your emails to mail@nightattack.tv. We got 2 here that are actually a direct response from something that you guys asked last week. This might have been in the after show. I don't remember. We got this one from Jonathan, a.k.a. Spooky Ghostling, who says, I don't do false praise. My career used to be as a black metal musician, but a neurological disease called dystonia robbed my passion at the same time I lost my family home. For 8 years, I waited for death as opening a door was trouble. On top of mental illness, I'm a fractured shadow of my former self. Brian Brushwood at one point followed me on Twitter before I quit social media, and I was confused why anyone, let alone anyone established, would acknowledge the ramblings of my mental mess. This was around the same time Modern Rogue was starting out. I got curious and checked it out. Schwood and Murphy's chemistry and bumbling was instant relief to the void of my spirit. I found out about Night Attack 4 months ago, and the optimist energy is contagious, and I dare say has reinvigorated my creativity that died when my disease set in. I'm working on acquiring the gear I need to begin the creative process. Regardless, you cats were the only thing to cheer up this dead soul. I look forward to Tuesdays, which is literally the only time I have experienced joy in almost a decade. No bullshit. Stay true to yourself, Jonathan, the spooky ghostling.
Wow, that makes my day to hear because a lot of people, stop me if you've heard this before.
A lot of
people were less nice on Twitter. I follow a lot of people. We ran a long campaign for a very long time. When Twitter launched, so there's sort of whenever a new thing launches, you want to populate it with something, right? So you look around your Twitter, you're like, I don't know, we got to have some content. And you're like, who's good? And you know Veronica Belmont, you put her on the recommended list. You know Greg Grunberg, you put him on the recommended list. And these are all friends of ours and whatever. This is before my time. I wasn't on the recommended list. Instead, I got started in the earlier days of YouTube. And so we had built up a very big YouTube following, but my Twitter following was nowhere near close to it. So it's just like, well, why don't we figure out who very likely knows who I am? Like, for example, let's say somebody follows everybody at the network that we're at except me, then the odds are they probably know who I am. Let me follow them first. Either they'll say, it's awesome you're following me, and then we'll high-five each other and be friends forever, or they will not react at all, in which case I'll assume it was a mistake and I'll back away slowly. I did that for, 4 or 5 years, Justin? It was a good long time.
Probably longer, I think.
But we slowly built up this very genuine. It was an opportunity to take, as some of you guys have heard me say before, this highly asymmetrical, largely one-way friendship and make it a two-way friendship. And man, nothing makes my day more than to hear that attempt at outreach, that attempt, even though it didn't land on Twitter, the fact that it led to a YouTube following that led to being in what I consider the nucleus of our most honest of podcasts with Night Attack, just makes me happier beyond words. That's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that.
Dude, and if you are listening right now, I'll just say this. Thank you so much for connecting with us. And whatever you are sensing from us, you have had within you throughout this entire process. You know how talented and awesome you are. You have let the world beat you down because of this malady that you've had. And all I will say is, come on into the meadow, baby. We're all here hanging out, laughing, living, struggling, and we're glad that you're here with us.
Hot damn, you're right. Wait, I said hot damn, and I couldn't decide if I was going to say you're right or right. So I said you're right. You're right. Yite.
I
Hot
suggest,
damn, yite.
Put that on a shirt.
if I may, hot yeah.
Hot yes.
Hot.
That's what I was saying.
Hot,
That's right.
Hot yeah.
Hot yeah.
We got to make a hot yeah shirt. All right, we also
that
got
was
another
a
question.
Heartwarming story.
Yeah, it's super sweet. This person did not attach their name to this one, but the subject line was How I Found You, 5 Degrees of Podcasts. Brian asked for emails in last week's show of how we found you guys, which for me happened very recently. I started out for years listening to Film Sack, which led to the morning stream, loved the Tuesday segment with Justin, which led to Unfriend Me, and Justin's wrestling show, which 1-900 Wrestling, is that right, Justin? 1-900 Wrestling?
Was it? Yep.
Occasionally politics, and then I discovered Night Attack. So 5 degrees from Film Sack to Night Attack. So just like Justin was talking about in the show about your community of different networks, I'm a longtime Frog Pants listener, which led me to you guys. P.S. For myself and other relatively new listeners, could you maybe take a few minutes to explain what this new property is and what you do there? I started listening 2 or 3 episodes before Brian moved into the new studio, so I know I've missed a lot of stories and info about it. And what other content should I be looking for you guys? I recently started listening to Cord Killers and just subscribed to Modern Rogue and Scam Nation on YouTube. Is there anything else I should look up?
Dude, I give this story a lot. I would love to hear your version of it, Justin, because I don't know what other people say about this story of the property.
Of the 7-acre Schwood or of that?
Yeah. It sounds like he's coming in late at this point.
Of the property. Okay, so Brian has built an empire in his house, and that was super cool when he had 3 smaller children, and then all of a sudden those children start getting bigger, and the business starts getting bigger, and quite literally there is an eviction moment where at some point things need to leave the house, and so Brian is soft on the lookout for a place for this to land, and he keeps having this fascination with this one weird property, and he goes and he offers to buy it, and next thing you know, the property says, no, we're going to sell it to, I don't know, a concrete factory where they make more concrete and then put concrete on top of the concrete because that's a really cool use of this land. And so Brian's dejected and he's trying to look for another place. The next thing you know, they call back and they say, hey, this amazing, awesome place, which, by the way, Brian fell in love with because it's a former nudist colony. By the way, it's a former awful satanic panic horror story. It is now yours. And a year later, after so much time, effort, and sacrifice, we not only have a property, we have an absolute compound. They're a fully functioning studio, a fully functioning production facility, and so much more to come. If that's what you were looking for, then that is what you are listening to.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
There you go. Also, maybe check out weirdthings.com, the Weird Things podcast with Brian and Justin and our friend Andrew Main, Daily Tech News Show, where Justin is a correspondent constantly. I don't know, any other
if
shows?
only there was one like highly polished, really well-researched podcast that just featured Justin Robert.
Oh, yeah. What was the Doctor Who podcast? What was the Doctor Who one?
Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss?
The boss.
Yes.
Who's the boss? Right. Yeah. Also, Raise the Dead podcast.
There you go, raisethedeadpodcast.com. Thank you to the both of you who sent emails. Please continue to send those in. We've got a few more here, but send them in, and we'll read them here. Mail, mail at nightattack.tv is the email address. Send in your emails for the end of the show, which is what this is.
Lowbrow, where can everybody follow so much more of your amazing adventures and see yet even more flashing lights behind you?
Oh my God, did you find my intro video? Great. That's amazing. Y'all can find me at twitch.tv/LowbroWatch, LOBRO, watch, WATCH. I host a podcast. I have a podcast coming out, and I host a show about personal growth and self-development. We're a community of people who just want to be the best version of ourselves. And so we talk about that together, and we have a good time, and it's a blast. Thanks.
Hells yeah.
And by the way, audio listeners, you just did not see that 50 megawatt grin coming off Lowbrow. One of the best humans on the planet. Thank you so much, brother, for coming by. Hey, Brian, what did we learn tonight?
We learned that game theory doesn't win you anything because eventually...
Because you all lost. No, you all lost.
We all lost. But it did turn out that quality wins in the end, which is why I'm subscribing right now to Raise the Dead podcast.
I learned that on a scale from 1 to 100, I give Bonnie's trivia abilities a 69.
I learned that it's fine to steal Justin Robert Young's words and attribute them to yourself as long as it's helping him launch his most successful podcast property to date.
And I learned that I have an amazing friend by the name of Brian Brushwood who helps me even when I don't give him permission.
Oh, you. Hey, man, I'll see you next Tuesday.
Die in a fucking fire.
Bit boss.
Oh, shit. Who's the bit boss?
I can't even see it. Bryce, you gotta help me.
I don't know. They changed it.
It's Big Jim 5 with 3,976 bits. Thank you very much, Jim. Big Jim 5, you're the only person who ever mattered to us.
Big Jim.
Fuck you, Justin. We were never friends.
Night attack, I love you.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.